Welcome everybody to another episode of Morning Coffee Review. Again, this is the area for you to get all of your questions answered around Bluebeam and much more, right? We facilitate the AEC industry, AECO now. It's always been O, but I mean, in terms of like it being more broadcasted to everybody from an operational standpoint.
What does O stand for, Michael?
Operations.
That's right.
Yes.
I've heard, some people say owner, some people say operations. Autodesk has operations, but I've heard owner just as much. So who knows?
Yes. And O was added to the Autodesk ecosystem, what was it, about 2 years ago? Ironically enough, Bluebeam has had O for a long-standing time since I've known. But yeah, so we facilitate the AECO industry. So if anything you need to ask or have questions about, and we always branch out and talk about just the industry overall, which we're going to talk about today to start out with, and then we'll move into the topic of what I had planned, which is the compare and the overlay and slip sheet commands, because those two will change in the near future with the Firmus acquisition by Bluebeam. So that's our topics today. Feel free to jump in with anything you have questions about. And I am joined by Mr. Matt Lynn himself. How are you doing today, Matt?
I'm good, thanks. Good morning. Glad to be here. I'm always excited to hear what we're talking about. Just so you guys know, I hear what we're going to talk about just as when you guys do. So it's always exciting to me.
Ironically enough, Matt has stopped asking me what we're going to talk about. Yes. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. Liz and I have coordinated. She will be on to talk about forms and stamps. I guess my calendar doesn't click over this way. For what I believe is the 7th, if I remember correctly. No, that's way too far. It's going to be the 3rd of March. Is when Liz will be available to talk about that forms that we were talking about last week. So if you were on last week, we dug into forms and customizing your JavaScript stamps. We will dig deeper into that workflow when she is on then. But that's our topics today. But let's dig a little bit deeper. And what we will be talking about first and foremost is something that I haven't posted. It will be posted. It actually just posted right now because we love automation on LinkedIn. So it is a blog, and we will be talking a little bit about this. If we dig into it, that is great. And this is something that has been on Matt and I's radar for some time. I've been singing it from the rooftops on AI and automation, but guess what? Is our industry ready for what's about to be released? Do you think so, Matt?
About what specifically?
AI and automation.
Oh, I think you're throwing me a softball here. I think
I am.
Okay. Yeah, is the industry ready? Yeah, I mean, I think we're ready to consume AI. We like it, we love it, we want more of it, but it's yeah, you have to have good data. Yes. If you don't, it's bad AI. It's a model reading off bad information. I assume that's where you're going. Gotta have good data.
Yeah, and
for those of you who didn't see this blog, it's a phenomenal blog. It's a must read by Michael. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. No, it's I've actually come back to your analogy that we had on this podcast. Which was, it's kind of like an intern. And if you train your intern incorrectly, it will not give you the correct information as an output. And I've been using that analogy a lot because it resonates, right? An intern is green, new to the industry, but is ready to consume information. And if the intern consumes information incorrectly, it's hard to use both a human and then AI as like a equal in some, but I'm trying here. So If it consumes information incorrectly, then you're going to get a bad output, right? So that was what I've been trying to communicate and convey for some time now. I wrote a blog specifically on this because we are going to be entering into an age this year and even more soon for you Bluebeam users with MCP connections to automate a lot of workflows. There are add-ins that have come out recently connecting MCPs with our Autodesk products. Soon enough, Autodesk will just release their own MCP connectors into large language models to automate our processes. So we are here. And is our data and information will be intertwined very readily in this conversation between Matt and I and you all as you're listening in. Is our information correct? Are we doing the right things to set ourselves up for success? I first stated that 7% of our industry is ready. I have now changed that to about 4%.
You know, when people used to say practice makes perfect, and then that was later modified to practice makes permanent. It's
No,
kind of the same. It's kind of the same idea, right? Like doing AI before it's ready goes back to that practice makes perfect. Well, not if you're practicing wrong. Practice makes
yes.
permanent. So that's kind of the same idea we're talking about here.
Yeah, our industry is having a rapid growth and revolution with automation and especially with AI. I mean, AI has been from at least like a large language model text input driven for the last what has been it was 2023 when it was really heavily released 2022. So we're looking at 3 years and now it's here for us, but it's happening so rapidly that we still had adopted old workflows of making things work. The pain of that.
Yeah. If we want to talk about Revit specifically, because that's what
that's what I'm going to. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, Revit specifically, we all know it is a very data heavy environment. And the mindset historically has been get it right to where when you create a PDF, it looks correct. And historically, contracts have been bound to those PDFs. So it works, right? There's no reason to go into every single parameter and ensure that the parameter value is correct when that's never really shown or printed. There's no documentation of it, so why put that effort in? So that's been the kind of the MO, for lack of a better term, of how we use Revit today. And so now that that's changing, all that data does matter. It matters very much, especially as we move into AI. So all those fields that we historically didn't fill out, like model number, or color, or whatever it is, a lot of them in the past, even if they were wrong, didn't really matter, especially if it was a text value. Okay, as we move forward, we're going to use less and less text values. Well, I mean, I guess we'll still use text values, but we'll try to use more intelligent type parameters and leverage them for AI. So yeah, it's going to become ever more and more important.
Yeah, and I think the key point there was, we were delivering a 2D deliverable and we weren't being intentional about how we got there. It was to accomplish the task to provide the deliverable. It wasn't to be intentional about the outcome of automation, which is the era we're entering into with AI, right? AI is a broad term. So we just use that as the umbrella of things that we're going to be able to accomplish with it. That umbrella for us more rapidly that we're seeing in this industry, things that are going to be coming into Bluebeam Revu, which is automation of tasks and workflows. And if we're not intentional with our workflows and how we are accomplishing the delivery, which we haven't been intentional, when things come up, we make it work to provide that deliverable, right? We're not creating a template, a workflow, a standard operating procedure to accomplish that end goal. We are modifying and band-aiding, if that can be a term, our way to the end goal, which is a PDF solution. It really came to fruition when I was in Japan, and that's a lot of this article has photos of that and descriptions of it because everything was intentional. There was no guessing or questioning. I talked about that when I came back about how we from the industry, but I don't even think so. It's just people from us in the industry that would be able to use the transit there or transit system. Everything is intentional and there's no question of, am I going the right way? Because they're intentionally directing you where to go from A to B.
Yep. We have a good question in the chat here. Will AI and automation change fundamental workflows for SD, DD, and CD? It's a great question, and I would argue yes. And I would go ahead and add CA on the end of that too, because maybe not CA, but yeah, kind of CA, or more like bidding and just getting contractors involved. Because I think once that data starts getting shared, not only with the architecture and engineers, I think it's going to be shared with contractors very early in the phase so they can start doing takeoffs or not, even if it's not takeoffs, they can start pulling together the correct subs, getting the correct people on board just from the data they have as early as SD. So yeah, it's a great question. I think SD, DD, CD will start to blend together, and I think construction will be pushed very earlier into the process as well.
Yeah, I think there's a fundamental change with data, and data is also a broad term, right? So AI and data, we're using broad terms here. Data specifically, especially from a CA phase, will immediately change for everybody that's a Bluebeam user with this AI review. Coming back to your phase, Matt, of that CA, imagine a world where we are not having to, there's a project that we're working on it, and just kind of full circle, but during RFI closure, right? Updating documents, having to go back and do that as a closeout, or issue tracking and creating dashboards and using that as project closeout as well. And then forecasting for future projects and how much cost mitigation are we going to have to present to an owner in the future, right? If somebody's coming and asking us to build some type of multifamily, and what issues have you encountered? How are you going to build mine more effectively than the last one you just did? How can we track all this and be more effective? AI is going to help expedite that workflow. And we're here with the Firmus integration that will be coming out for Bluebeam on the CA side, right? So we're going to be able to track issues in dashboard form automatically. Now, this is in that 2D phase, right? Because PDFs, but talking again about how we standardize these workflows, AI isn't going to help us if our workflows are piecemealed together and, Matt's doing it one way and I'm doing it the other to present an end product, the same end product. Matt goes, the path of least resistance, and I go and do 10 different workflows to accomplish that same end goal. You're not going to be able to train a large language model on 2 different workflows to be more effective, right? You're just going to take twice the amount of time to do that.
Especially if they're coming from siloed data sources.
Exactly. And on that note, there's also an announcement from us of being able to unsilo those and what ATG can offer from a siloed data source. But when you look at data as a whole, that's what we can help with here at HG as well. So if anyone listening in is looking, how do we structure our data? As you're reading through this blog here, and you want to be intentional on your data, you want to standardize these workflows, that's something Matt and I can help you out with. So feel free to reach out to us. This is something Matt and I have talked heavily about. I've been standing on this stool yelling from the rooftops about AI and how unintentional everybody has been in the industry and how we aren't ready. And we're here, right? So
We're
reach
ready to
out to us.
consume,
Yes.
but we're not ready to consume.
Yes. So reach out. I talk about it in this blog. Read through it. If any of these or you have something that maybe I did not mention, feel free to reach out to us. We are ready to help you succeed. And maybe there's a topic you want to see on here on how we would structure some of our information in our projects. By all means, Matt and I will go in depth on some of those workflows as well. But I wanted to get this out there to the masses and understanding where the industry is currently at, because 2026 is going to be the most rapid change any of us have ever had in the industry. And it's going to be due to automation and the ability to use large language models to accomplish tasks in our solutions. This will be the year that you will all be using. And if you're not, you're going to be behind. I'm just telling you that for a fact by the end of 2026. Autodesk will release their MCPs. They already have them. People can build plugins to leverage those MCPs. But Bluebeam will have theirs first that you can just use. What did you think of the blog, Matt? What were your two key takeaways? Or one takeaway. I won't throw you two curveballs from it.
It was really, really good. I think the why and the intent is if you read this and didn't feel some sort of either fear or confidence, then you missed it. Right? So you should read this and have some sort of fear of like, oh crap, I haven't been doing the things. Or you read it and you're like, yeah, I'm set up for success. Either's fine, right? If you're set up for success, awesome. You're doing the things. If you're not, hey, most people aren't. Would you say you're down to 4% who are doing it right?
I'm down to 4%.
So then you're in the 96% bucket. It's fine. Now's a great time to start doing it right. So that's kind of what I took away. Like you should come away with either fear or confidence, and both are proactive. So
yeah,
that's what I took away. It was the big why. You know me, I'm always thinking about the why, the big picture.
Matt is very good with asking the why and making you also think about the why as well. Yeah, you're not at the failing point of if you're saying you're not ready, right? 4%. If you guys didn't know, I talk with clients on a regular basis, probably in the area of around 80 to 100 a month. And then understanding of that's way too much. Hold on. Probably individually around 30 a month. So talking to 30 clients a month, right? Understanding where they're at, where they want to be. That gave me a reminding that I was a little bit gracious with 7%. It is now 4%. There's not a lot of us ready. And I'm just trying to let all of you know from understanding where the industry's at and where we are going, technology is advancing more rapidly than what we are ready to have. And that's been typical, right? We've been a typical 10-year roll of adoption. We have shrunk that into around a 4 to 5 year adoption rate. And people still haven't adopted workflows that are like that. We are now going to be rapidly changing, not in a year span. We are going to be rapidly changing in around 4 to 6 month span with automation. And if you're not ready or equipped or looking to where technology is going, that is okay. We're here. Matt and I are here to help you with that. We have a pulse. We have an understanding. And I've been saying this when I learned about the MCP integration, that we are here and this is going to happen rapidly for everybody. And if you aren't ready, you're not intentional about how you're using your workflows or even as a company, you're going to be rapidly behind that pace. And this is my blog on that. And I said this before where I felt like I had this tinfoil hat when I've been speaking about this because it hasn't been released yet, right? But it's coming and it's very rapidly going to change. Someone else in the industry recently posted a video on the MCP connection for Revit from a company that built that connector as an add-in. We are here, folks. That's available today. Bluebeam's MCP connection for automation in your workflows is available in beta and will be available very soon when Max is released to everybody. We are here. In the next coming months, everyone's going to be using automation. And are you going to be training that automation to work effectively is going to be the next question. Because as Liz just said earlier, your LLM may gaslight you, give you wrong information, even when you tell it it's wrong. I've done that too. I was making a YouTube thumbnail last night and it was gaslighting me. And I was like, why are you making me look completely different than the photo I just did it? And it wouldn't reply, it just kept making a new thumbnail for me. And I was frustrated. So I just gave up. But that's the thing, right? So if you're not training your models effectively and efficiently, then you're going to get gaslighted and wrong information as an output, and it's not going to work, right? So understanding garbage in, garbage out. And
in the spirit of multiple coats of paint, and I know you've said this many times by my request, give us a quick description of MCP again, because it's so critical to understand it.
Yeah. So basically what we're going to be able to do is the best analogy and very simple analogy is currently right now, you go to the hardware store and you have a 3-prong plug and you need to go get an extension cord to, we just ended Christmas. So I'll use that as the analogy. And you're plugging in your Christmas lights. Typically they're always 3-prong plugs, and you go and get an extension cord and it's a 2-prong plug. You can't plug it in, right? It doesn't work, right? Your power is not going to work. That's what's happening right now with large language models is you can't plug them together. So what the current workflow and everybody's understanding is, and thought process between large language models and what our workflows are, is we're inputting data, giving all the data that we want to the large language model, and maybe some information you shouldn't, but you are. And you're copying it and giving it all to that large language model. And for anyone that didn't know, whenever you give a large language model a PDF, or we'll just say an actual PDF, it rasterizes it. It turns it into a JPEG and it interprets that data. Now, does it do it correctly or not? As you know, half the time it does until you've trained it, and it's now understanding everything that it needs to. It knows your workflow. It knows what it's going to be searching for. If you're using the thinking modules, let's use ChatGPT as an example. It will go and actually do research on the interwebs or an output. What we will be doing is we will now be going to the hardware store, and it will provide us with a 3-prong plug, and it will connect. We will be able to accomplish tasks in our solution without inputting and giving all the information to the LLM, because the LLM will go into the software and complete the task for you. We have been in the mindset of give it the information, give us a text-based output to consume. We will now be giving it a text-based input, and it will be doing a task in our design solution. That is the difference. That is a change in mindset that we're used from a text-based input to a text-based output. It'll be text-based input to a task in your solution. So, i.e., we need to draw you're going to be able to train, there's so many possibilities. So I'll just use something simply put. I need a 2-hour fire rating wall at 10 feet by 10 feet box. We'll just use that very simply. Draw that. And it's 10-foot high walls. It will go in and do that for you in Revit. Or in Bluebeam, I need you to go through and check all of my revisions and categorize them in a legend so that I have them on my sheet set. It will go through and do that task for you. So it's doing it in the software. It's not giving you an output as a text-based output or an image-based output or a video with Sora. In the LLM, it's doing it in the software and completing your task for you. Does that make sense? That wasn't short. I know you asked for short. So.
No, that was good. Yeah. It's always good to, again, multiple coats of paint. Because, all these acronyms are new to us. LLMs, MCPs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's always good to get reminders.
Yeah, and a reminder on MCP is because there's questions about Claude. So Claude integration isn't an integration that's locked behind Bluebeam's integration. Claude is the only one, aside from Copilot, who partnered with Claude to get MCP protocols. So ChatGPT currently doesn't have MCP protocols, and let me put a caveat asterisk on that. They do in their development portion of your subscription. So if you do, or part of their, I forget, I think it's called development. Just look up ChatGPT MCPs. Anyways, Claude is the first LLM to integrate with or create MCPs. So that's why Claude is noted as that. Now, currently with some of the add-ins that I saw on the interwebs for Revit design, for those folks that are using Revit, there is a company that has built an add-in, except it uses Claude's desktop version. So there's going to be this whole caveat too with intellectual property. Web-based is going to be better. So solutions web-based, probably where the future is going to go. But right now with Claude, it's using its leveraged, downloaded, installed desktop application, not the web-based application. Bluebeam's web-based application, Bluebeam will allow you to use Claude via a web-based browser. So it's not installed on your local desktop machine, which is going to be an IT protocol. Again, when we circle back to leveraging what is the AI tool, large language model, grabbing from information and consuming and owning, by the way, and then completing your tasks in your design solution. So there's a lot. What else do we have in here? Firmus will be integrated into Bluebeam. So this is different. Bluebeam acquired Firmus. It'll be part of their Max tier, and this will be part of Bluebeam in the future. Let's see. There will be no. So MCP protocols, just so you're aware, are not in the free version of Claude. You have to have the paid for version. That's why it will be big when you leverage Copilot for the MCP connection. So let's see, I'm going to Google Copilot MCPs, Copilot MCPs. I love how we had a topic for things in Bluebeam, and if we want to get in there, we can. So, yeah. Here's Copilot. So the reason why I'm bringing up Copilot is because everyone has Copilot typically in our industry because you purchase a Microsoft license. So Copilot will be the big switch when everyone adopts it versus Claude, because you as a user are going to be the one. Most typically, I don't see a company saying, yeah, we have over $1,200. It's going to be more than that. It's $20 a user. So however many users that is, maybe it's not going to be more than that, of Claude subscriptions. It's probably going to be you as an end user. Do you want to be more effective and efficient at your job, is how the industry will roll out, then pay your Claude subscription and use it. I mean, currently I pay a ChatGPT subscription, right? So instead of paying your ChatGPT subscription, you would be paying your Claude subscription. Anyways, going back full circle, Copilot is already paid for by your company typically, and the MCP protocol integration will be that connection. So what's new? Model context protocol integration. So this is available, it looks like, effectively and efficiently right now. It doesn't talk about anything with Claude and how they integrated it, but they have it. So Copilot does have MCP protocol enable markers to connect existing knowledge servers, APIs. I didn't get into the deep part, and I have before with Matt about how basically the MCP is connecting to the API of whatever the solution is. And the issue was always the API was a two-prong approach. MCP was a three-prong approach. Sorry, that's incorrect. API is a three-prong approach. MCP is the additional three-prong approach to connect into the design, the LLM solution. So this allowed us to connect to APIs from the LLM. But it's here. So if you have Copilot, you can start leveraging that. I haven't gotten into it. It looks like it's Copilot Studio. I should probably read this more effectively, so I'm not giving you all wrong information. So just go through and read this. I'll put this in the chat as well. Yeah, there was a topic, Doug. But as we are well aware here on MCR, when we start to get into some of the information, we pivot. What else? Was there anything else, Matt? Can we test Max before it is released? Yeah, I don't know. Is anyone from Bluebeam on? We've had some folks from Bluebeam on here pretty recently. No. So there was a link last time. I don't have the link. If anyone has a link to get access to the beta, please post it. But if you're part of Bluebeam community, you can get access to the beta now. Oh, thanks, Doug. You commented that. For anyone that is listening here on YouTube, go to Bluebeam communities. You can get access to the beta there. It will be released here, I want to say, in the next. Actually, I don't know, because the thought was in this quarter. So I would say in the next 2 months, but I don't know where we're at yet currently because I haven't asked. What else? What else did we miss, Matt? Anything?
We're good. What was the original topic? Overlays?
Yeah, we're going to go over overlay and compare because it's going to change with the Firmus integration and show you where we're currently at and then where we're going. Bluebeam has partnered with, Bluebeam acquired Firmus, and this will be part of the platform. I checked that with Angela last week. Okay, the plan is still this quarter. Cool. So AI match is where we are going. Again, garbage in, garbage out. This is going to be hard for you all in the downstream effect. Hopefully the industry changes. Not hopefully, it will. It will change large scale from the design side. So if you're in the downstream effect of cost estimating from the construction side of the industry, you don't have a lot of control over how documents are printed. That I'm still blown away that some people get different title blocks for construction documents from different disciplines.
What do you mean? On the same project?
Yeah, same project.
Oh, they should be the same title block. The architect typically provides the title block to all the consultants. And then the consultants, they usually have their little box where they can put their logo, but the title block should be the same.
Should, right? I was told here that that doesn't happen all the time. So when they go and use grab things in Bluebeam to, automate a lot of their tasks, they're not provided with a title block that has standardization. So when they go and use hey, let me create all these hyperlinks automatically, it's not in the same spot sometimes. And I was like, really? So again,
yeah, they should.
That downstream effect again, data in, data out, right? Are you standardizing your workflows? Are you following a BIM execution plan? Or are you just throwing things together? I don't know. So AI match will be out. What we currently have available in Bluebeam is document compare and document overlay. These were the first go arounds for auto align, which was Bluebeam's version of AI, which again, I still don't believe was truly AI. We will be entering into a true AI phase, but what I was told is that it's looking at like a set number of areas on your PDFs, but these are built into the solution. You can do batch overlay or batch compare. I'll do the batch overlay. Let me, oh yeah, it doesn't really matter if I'm with this one. We'll do the slip sheeting one, which it will matter. But overlay pages allows you to overlay different sets of a PDF. So I'll go to my Bluebeam and we'll go to here. We'll go to demo docs. Actually, we'll go to revisions. So I have Rev 1 and the first one. And basically what Bluebeam will do is it will auto align. So you can do page align, and then they have this new auto align feature. That was their first iteration of AI and Goa AI. And it's looking at a set number of different spots on the PDF to auto align to. Now, Firmus will change this game, and you can all take a look at Firmus on how this works, because it will also allow you to document these. And this was pretty cool when you're looking at this overall like percentage match. And then this will probably follow suit to the issue tracking. But what happened to my, I guess it just closed out. Okay, that's fine. So that was their first go at AI, this auto match feature. The old one was also the manual line, which is like the three dots, which was terrible in my opinion. But what this does is it allows you to, if the viewports didn't move, very easily see differences in the PDF sets. So we'll hit OK. What it's doing is it's providing two different layers. So it's doing a color process on one document, changing everything from black to red and then everything from black to green. And essentially you could see this if you go to your layers and you turn them on and off. When anything aligns or something aligns, it goes back to your native black layer color. And you can see the differences. This is built into Bluebeam. This has been here. This is a great way to view an overall PDF set when you know viewports didn't move. I have a different way of doing this for specific areas when viewports are moving. But this is great, right, Matt? If you had this out in the field, this would have saved you some time to very visually see key differences, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic, especially for consultants who are receiving architectural updates, because architecture drawings are constantly evolving. So a plumbing engineer could see if a toilet moved, they need to move the fixture, for example.
And you could even overlay a MEP drawing in this one if you wanted, so then you could see where that all runs. The other one is Compare, and I don't know, a lot of people like, and maybe it's because it's the title of Compare. I don't ever see a use case for this because it's creating a revision cloud, and there should be revisions when things are changed. But by all means, you can use this tool. So you're selecting your PDFs, and it will go through and create this. I'm going to have it saved to my documents. And what this does is it opens up a window of two different ones. It has your original one and your Rev one, and you will automatically have synced pages enabled so that when you're scrolling in and out, it will sync them for you. But it's showing you the differences between the original one, and it just depends on which one you had first, and the new one. So you can see the differences by a revision cloud. Now, I just personally don't like this because there should be revisions where those areas are. But again, it's giving you the revision clouds of those use cases where they're different. And then it's allowing you to sync them visually so you can go through and look at the differences. I like the overlay one. Which one do you prefer, Matt?
I've never seen this one. I really like it. I like the overlay too, but this kind of throws it in your face, not for documentation purposes, but for QA/QC purposes. You know what I mean? Just like save this into its own QA/QC folder, because like you're not going to miss that big blob right there. You're going to be like, all right, what changed in here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very in your face. The other one is more surgical. It's saying, all right, here's exactly what's wrong. Here's saying, here, something in here is different. Like again, I think it's a nice QA/QC touch that I didn't know this existed. I'd only
Yeah.
seen the other version.
Oh, you've only seen Overlay? Probably because
Yeah,
that's the one I
yeah.
like more. But yeah, this is available and it will go through and highlight those differences for you. So this moved, so that's kind of your question of like, well, what really happened here? This is zooming in the exact same spot as this PDF and this one on the page size. So if you zoom in, that is what's different. You can tell that this moved over to the right.
Yeah.
So again, that ability to go through and see the differences, there was a door added because somehow you're supposed to get into the electrical room without a door. You know what didn't change is the door out here in the middle of nowhere, Matt. Would you be
I
redlining
know,
that
it's
up?
my favorite door. Yeah, I want to see that on site. It's just laying up against the wall.
Exclamation point, exclamation point. You still left it there. So those are the two that are built in. This will rapidly change with the Firmus integration with this AI match. This is what I'll see heavily used rapidly. I also will see that this AI review will be used for more of the CA phase in documentation and dashboard protocols. So being aware of that, I think this will be heavily used as well. But the AI match from a foundational standpoint will be integrated into here. And I'll be interested to see if these two options will still be available. I don't think they'll remove them, but they are not going to like create any advancements and updates. My thought would be when you're just acquired a company that has this AI match feature, I doubt there's going to be any additional value add to these two. So this will be the state that they're in for a while. That don't have Max. They'll have to be there for people that don't have Max. Their notion was, Doug, that Firmus will be for the Max users only, the value add of why you would purchase Max. Maybe at some point they may change that, but from Unbound, that was their note. But I agree if that statement that you said was it'll be more heavily adopted if they integrate it into the overall solution versus just Max. But then why would you get Max? Okay. The last one is going to be slip sheeting, which is part of Bluebeam as well. I need to save out my data sets so that it doesn't overwrite them. So give me 2 seconds and I'll show you what I'm doing on this screen when I get into the folder. So basically when you go into here, you'll have, I have a slip sheet folder because you'll have your original documents. The reason why I save these out after, just so you're all aware of that workflow, is I save it into a different folder because it's going to overwrite your main PDF. So your main PDF is going to be overwritten because it's saving these slip sheets into your main PDF. Okay. So now let's go to documents, batch slip sheeting. I'm going to add my original files. So I have my original one, and then I'm going to add my revised files. It says it here for those folks that need to remember this workflow. Now, what you see here is that the original file had 1 through 6, but the new one only revised 1 through 5. And I don't think it's only all 1 through 5. It's mismatched, but you have the option of how's it going to currently match the pages. I've just done it by file name, but you have some additional ones like page label, page region, manual correlation. We're just going to hit match pages. And it's going to show us what did match and what was not matched. So you can go through and review this match with these, perfect. But then there was an unmatched one, and it was my framing details, and it was from my current set, but there was no match one on my revised set. That's because I actually didn't update that sheet, so I didn't print out that sheet as well. So just being aware that it shows you unmatched and matched. And if there was ones that were supposed to match in the unmatched, just select them and hit match pages. Now, what is it going to do with these new pages? Typically, when you're slipping sheets in, there's 2 different workflows. Some people replace it. Some people slip it before with an addendum or a appended stamp. Bluebeam does that automatically for you. So right here are your options with these. You can do insert revised pages before the current page, or you can just replace those pages with the current pages. It's up to you on that workflow. I like to insert revised pages before it to show you what it's doing. And then this also gives you an option to copy those markups. So if your original sheet set had markups on it and you want those markups to be brought over to the revised sheets, you can. If they were flattened, you can unflatten them, and then you can flatten them after markups. I do recommend the flatten after because it will give you two markups in your overall markups list of the same markup when it copies it over. And I like the superseded. I'm going to unleave that flattened one, though, just to show the example. So we're going to go through and slip these together. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, I didn't hit open the PDF. That's fine. It saves it automatically. So just go back to this one. You can see it gave a new saving date. That's why I copy my data set so I don't ruin it. We'll go back to the first page. We'll do split pages. We'll go over here and we'll make sure our view is not synced so that we're not syncing when we're trying to go to the next page. So this is the first page. We'll go to the second page. This was the original first page. This is the new first page. So you can see the difference and it says superseded. We'll go to the next one. There's one with a markup so I can show you. So there's this one that is the new page, and we'll go over to page 10. The original markup was made out in the open, but it was copied over. So you can see that it does copy those markups over. Again, we have the stamp of superseded over, so we know this is the old one. The new one's here, and there's that fresh markup that was copied over from the original to the new one as well. So Slipsheet is part of Bluebeam. That's not changing with the Firmus integration that I know of, but being aware that these are features that are currently offered in the product. I do know for a matter of fact that these two workflows of compare and overlay will change with the Firmus integration, but I threw slipsheeting in because I got asked that the other day. So I just want to make sure everyone is aware that slipsheeting is available. You can't slipsheet in studio sessions, so everyone's aware, because again, I don't think I'll ever end up not saying this, but studio sessions is meant to mark up the current state of the current PDF, so it's not meant for document management. Did you know slipsheet existed, Matt?
I did. Little fun fact about that term. That term comes from the era of hard copy drawings. So we slipsheeted before we had computers.
Yes. So the term was an actual
cool.
manual effort, right?
Yeah. It's cool when, like, you know, obviously I went through a point of learning Bluebeam and it's like slipsheet. I'm like, oh, cool. I know what that is. So it's cool when they use terms that relate to people that like of previous generations from the 1900s, like me, you know.
So are you saying they should have maybe named overlay to transfer paper?
It's called vellum. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's good. No, yeah, no, I like slip sheeting. I think it's really fantastic. I always used it in the industry because I always had like that starting PDF that you had, which was like a issue for permit or whatever, and then you had the superseded for bidding, and then you had another one for for construction, and then even those I slip sheeted every addendum after bidding. Every bulletin, every PR, you name it. Then I had like one 1,000-page PDF that way. I always had the history of everything. So I love slip sheeting for sure.
And you didn't replace it. You just added in with a superseded stamp. Okay.
Yeah, because in conversations, inevitably on site, there'll be, if something comes up, well, I thought it was like this, and you can point to, well, it was, and then the PR changed it. Like you have that record, that ongoing the evolution of the design.
It was, look, if you would have
right
flipped
there.
a couple back.
Yeah.
So this is built in. You can use this. You can always do the manual effort of inserting a new page if you wanted. I guess I could have always just used the thumbnails, but yeah, you can see the differences between all of these versus flipping through like I did. I guess I never thought of just showing it in this way. But you have that option to view all of these superseded ones. You could always, insert this way if you wanted. You can drag and copy over. But the beauty of this is it will copy markups over. It will also stamp that markup with superseded as well. You can't change the stamp provided, but you will be able to in the future with the new integration that is not integration, with the new feature that's coming out to swap existing markups, which will be cool. So you could theoretically change that in the future. You should show the report. Yes, I will show the report because it does. I did not say flatten. So if you remember, I didn't say flatten the markups. So you're going to get the markups that are existing. And that's what I notated earlier. You're probably going to want to, because if I scroll down, I have a cloud here. One cloud overall was made, but I have two of them here. And that is because that is available. Oh, the slip sheet report. I don't know where I saved it out, Doug. Maybe it was at my desktop. No, it wasn't. Doug was saying show the slip sheet reports. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me redo this. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be quick. Well, as quick as I can be. Copy these back over. Over to here, Control V, replace. And then we'll go through back to slip sheets, add. So I clicked past this quick. So I didn't have this checked. And this is what Doug was saying. Open file after. This is the report. It automatically creates you a report to show what it did.
And you could have that appended to the actual PDF, right? Or no?
Yeah, you can if you want. You just save it out and you it doesn't automatically append, but you can
just
bring
add
it in. Yeah.
So what do those links go to then?
The PDF of where it's stored locally. So if it's stored locally, yeah, it will work. As you can tell, you can see the span of my buried folders. Again, that data structure, AI, depending on how you categorize things too locally.
Oh, you put everything in documents?
Yeah.
It's nuts.
That's over here in SharePoint.
My documents folder's empty.
Yeah. For me, a lot of things are local, and that's also a topic of conversation of having things like on the SharePoint drive versus a local drive, especially if a desktop goes down or a hard drive gets burned. Then there's SharePoint's going to be the solution as well from local perspective, or maybe you're using something like A2K, which is a private cloud server, or maybe you're using ACC. We are gone with the era of worrying about storing things in the cloud, but there are people like me who have old bad habits. Again, training LLMs and understanding those workflows, where I store things local. Matt has transitioned easily to using something like SharePoint, right, Matt? Because you have access to it anywhere.
I think is essentially SharePoint, yeah.
Oh yeah, OneDrive is different than
I think they're kind of the same. I don't really know. I use OneDrive, which I think
I'm confused. I think
that's right. Lives in SharePoint, if I understand correctly.
I think Microsoft SharePoint versus what's the difference? Hold on. I'm not going to read this. Did somebody say something? No. Okay. You can look it up.
I'll look it up. I'll ask Chad.
There's a bunch of it in there. I have some SharePoint URL paths nearing 600 characters. Keep that in mind with your storage and retrieval solutions. Yes. So we talked a lot about data and AI, and we talked about the ability to make sure your processes are done correctly or implement templates and all of that. I want to add this into the kind of comment that John made. And Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm able to announce this or not, which was announced for us internally yesterday, our partnership or acquisition. Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're reading my blog and you need help standardizing, creating correct workflows, templatizing, and standardization, that's something Matt and I can help out with today, tomorrow, forever. We just acquired a data solutions company for migrating your data into one data lake. So this is different than my blog and what we just talked about. Reiterating this, I have 600 characters. Keep that in mind when you're storage and retrieval solutions. This is also something we can help. If you want to have a conversation with Matt and I and then point you to this new offering that ATG has, we have acquired a company that essentially allows you to bring and connect all of your data into any solution that you need it to. So give me some examples of that, Matt.
So let's say, so we know ACC is great, right? It has all project information for a project. So now what if you want to go and see and ask what projects are successful? Well, the financial health is held within accounting, right? So what if I want to go ask AI which projects were successful over 2025? Well, to do that, I need the data from accounting and the data from ACC to connect, or I want them to live in the same place. Okay, that's like one example of saying I need to cross collaborate amongst not only the project, but also what it's doing elsewhere in my firm and how it's being financially successful. Or I ran several marketing campaigns. Did those feed the engine? I don't know. If only I had the data from my marketing connecting to both that financial engine as well as the project information. Is there a way I could go ask AI, hey, did these marketing campaign move the needle or not? So the more you connect those currently siloed datas, if you connect them and either put them in the same location or simply MCP them together. I just made it a verb.
You did.
We can help you do that. And then you can run AI and you can query data over all of it together. Hey, did this marketing campaign move the needle and how successful was it? Well, now all those datas are connected and you can ask those types of questions running across all the data and having them talk to each other. That's an explanation via example, but I think it's the best way to explain it.
It's perfect. So we acquired a company that will build all the connections you need into a data lake and help connect information. If you want to create your own internal natural language model on top of that, they also do that too. So we do that now. So I got to change the
That's right. One
we
team.
do that. Yeah, one team. So here at ATG, we acquired a company that can do that for you. So if you're trying to combine your ERP system into Autodesk Construction Cloud, or if you're trying to go through and create a natural language model on top of all of your data locally, we do that. If you're looking to standardize, you read my blog and you want to get that data and information set up correctly and standardized before you bring it into a data lake, Matt and I will love to hop on a call with you. We still also just acquired a company that will then do the next step, which is bring your information into a data lake, layer it with a natural language model if that's your interest, or just connect an ERP system into something like Autodesk Construction Cloud. So this is something we offer today. That is a huge announcement that will be rolling out this week as well. So if you have questions around this, feel free to reach out to myself or Matt Lynn. Matt Lynn's email is mlinn@ATGUSA. Mine is MECHAV as in Victor @atgusa.com. Feel free to reach out to us. But that is it. We talked a lot today. We showed some features in Bluebeam at the end. We talked a lot about AI and where the industry is going and how you can prepare your information. Please check out my blog. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you, Walt, for joining us today. MCR wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for all of you. Matt, any follow-up questions or statements to end it?
Yeah, thanks for all the chat. That's what makes this great. All the information, all the questions, we're driving good conversation from you guys. So.
Agreed. So if you're not able to join live, and I know some of you aren't, try to join live. The chat is always flooded, and we are here to help all of you. If you do have questions and you're watching this on YouTube, just comment. I go in and am notified when comments come up. But as always, this wouldn't be what it is today if it weren't for you in the community. So I appreciate every single one of you. And we'll see you all next week.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.